Halo, selamat pagi. Good morning everyone. Ohayou gozaimasu minasan. Hi. Welcome to Layla Alstroemeria class. Yay. I'm a virtual liver and historian from NIJISANJI ID. And today in this another episode of Alstroepedia, we are going to talk about Indonesia Colonial Era Part 2 and a little bit of Japanese Occupation. Hai, selamat pagi, selamat pagi. Selamat pagi, apa kabar? Masih pagi. Udah pada sarapan belum? Halo, halo. Yeah. We're going to talk about the colonial era after the national awakening of Indonesia. Oh my. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pinocchio-san. Selamat pagi Bu Guru. Punten, ini uang kasih Bu. Punten. Belum sarapan. Sambil sarapan boleh. Ini Layla sarapan boba. Ini maaf ya kalau suara Layla agak-agak serak-serak seksi gimana gitu. Ya, kayaknya dari pas main If-Op ini suara Layla udah mulai nggak beres ini. Maaf ya kalau misalnya suaranya rada-rada gimana gitu. I'm sorry guys if my voice is a little bit hoarse. Maybe I screamed too loud last night. Wah, terima kasih pisang gorengnya. Terima kasih pisang gorengnya, makasih banyak loh. Ya, oke, kita mulai. Let's start the class. Okay, so for my new viewers, whenever I brought the topic of Indonesia, I'm going to mainly deliver it in English, but I'll still use bahasa Indonesia just a little bit when explaining things, okay? Thank you for your understanding. Yeah. Okay. Ya, kalian jaga kesehatan juga ya. Ada arigato, Bocin-san. Terima kasih donasinya. Bagi Madam ini uang kasih lupa kemarin teh, pero it's okay, santai aja loh. Terima kasih ya. Hai, selamat pagi. Ya nggak apa-apa, sambil makan di kelas juga nggak apa-apa. Ini ibu sambil seruput boba. Boba is good. Kira-kira untuk teman-teman Indonesia, ada yang tahu nggak di sebelah kanan atas ini fotonya siapa? Ya, selamat pagi. Ya, kuis pertama. Foto di kanan atas ini fotonya siapa? Fotonya siapa? Ya. Yeah, okay, let's continue from where we left off. On the right top here, you can see the photo of Dr. Sutomo. He was the founder. Ouch! Aduh, kejedok dokter. Aduh, yeah. It's the photo of the founder of Budi Utomo. It's Dr. Sutomo. Okay, so ya, Dr. Sutomo betul sekali. Pendirinya Budi Utomo. Yeah, okay. So before we start, let me explain a bit from where we left off. So if you guys remember, Queen Wilhelmina in 1901 announced Dutch ethical policy that was aimed at raising the living standards of the native population. Ya, kita hapus papan tulisnya ini. So, if you guys remember about kita hapus dulu. Hapus. Yeah, so the slogan for the ethical policy was irrigation, education, and emigration. As you might know, irrigation is the watering system, and then education is education, and emigration is like the transferring pindah tempat tinggal gitu. Jadi bukan ekspor ya, tapi kayak keluar dari negara, tinggal di tempat lain. Oke, ya papan tulis saya sudah siap. Sip. Tes dulu kapurnya, oke sip, udah benar. So in the Netherlands, a Christian and progressive organization saw the possibility of a moral mission in the colony, including Indonesia. At that time, it was Dutch East Indies. Yeah, they felt that the people of the East Indies should be educated in order to take on some of the responsibilities of political and economic independence. So what they want to do is poverty prevention, schooling, and construction of irrigation works and roads would improve the economic conditions in which the native population live. But ironically, these ethical policies bore very little real fruit. The main obstacle of it was a chronic lack of manpower and funding, and this only worsened in the Depression of the 1930s. But although the ethical period failed to deliver widespread education, it did provide a Dutch education for the children of the Indonesian elite. And with that came Western political ideas of freedom and democracy. Jadi biarpun ethical policy ini tuh hanya menghasilkan sedikit gitu, jadi tidak terlalu membuahkan hasil, hanya sedikit sekali, tapi ini sangat membantu untuk meningkatkan edukasi dari anak-anak di kalangan elit Indonesia. Dan karena itu muncullah pandangan politik dari Barat mengenai ide-ide tentang kebebasan dan demokrasi. Dan dari situ kita bisa bilang inilah saat dimana mulailah kebangkitan nasional dari Indonesia, or the Indonesian National Awakening. Okay, so the first association to that was Budi Utomo. Utomo. Yeah, it was founded in 1908, precisely on 20th May. And it was the first native political society in Dutch East Indies, or Hindia Belanda. And this event is regarded as the birth of Indonesian nationalism. Oh my god, my voice! Birth of Indonesian nationalism. Yay! Gak tahu suara aku seksi banget ya hari ini. Ini kayak kemarin keseruan kali main di Ludo Recia, bangun-bangun sore begini dan gak bisa balik ya. Yeah, maybe I had too much fun when joining Amnesia's doodle stream last night, and when I woke up, my voice is just like this. Excuse me, excuse my voice. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, let's continue with the class. And then, the day when this organization was founded became Hari Kebangkitan Nasional, or National Awakening Day of Indonesia, ever since 1948. Yeah, So the founder of Budi Utomo was a pensioned government doctor who felt that native intellectuals should improve education and culture among the public. So the founders are it's Dr. Sutomo. As you can see, his picture is on the top right of the screen. Here is Dr. Sutomo. And then Dr. Wahidin Sudirohusodo. Aku kalau nggak muat maaf ya. And then Gunawan Mangunkusumo. Yeah. And the first leader is Dr. Wahidin Sudirohusomo. He became the leader. Okay, wait a second. Maybe I should just do this. The first leader. I'm sorry if I'm a bit quiet because my voice is like this, okay? I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, they were actually the students of Stovia. They're the students of Stovia. Yay! Of Stovia. Anyone knows what Stovia is? Any Indonesian? Teman-teman dari Indonesia, kalian tahu apa itu Stovia? Sekolah apakah itu? Kecilin dikit ya Pak fotonya, maaf ya, terima kasih. Oke. Yo, Stovia, iya sekolah dokter, betul sekali. Ya, ini dia sekolahannya. Yeah, so here's the school from where these founders study. Yeah, it was the school where they studied. Stovia is the school taught applying van in lunch artsen or Stovia. Basically, it was a medicine school in Batavia. Back then, the name, yeah, okay. So this is a school. Back then, the name was Dr. Jawa School, and then the name changed to Stovia. And now it became the Museum of National Awakening. Ya, sekarang udah menjadi Museum Kebangkitan Nasional. Jadi kalau kalian jalan-jalan ke Museum Kebangkitan Nasional, berarti kalian lagi jalan-jalan ke gedung yang dulunya adalah gedung Stovia atau Sekolah Kedokteran di Batavia. Sekolah pengobatan gitu ya. Ya, oke. So, oke, ini udah kembali ke fotonya. Sekarang aku tutup fotonya ya. Ini fotonya Dr. Sutomo. This is a picture of Dr. Sutomo, and I'm going to hide it in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, doctor. Okay, so Budi Utomo main focus. It was mainly focused on stimulating the Japanese culture. Yeah, so the membership was an upper class elite of natives. The members members. Okay, the members are upper class elite of natives. I mean Indonesian natives. And then also government officials and intellectuals. intellectuals. Intellectuals and officials. And they were confined very large in Java. And the most of them are Javanese. Ya, selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Ya, maaf ya suaraku kayak gini. Gak apa-apa. It's okay. I hope it doesn't bother you guys too much, okay? I hope my voice doesn't bother you guys too much. And Budi Utomo's primary aim at first, it wasn't political, but it gradually shifted toward political aims. Okay, at first, it wasn't political. Yeah, but gradually it shifted toward political aim. Towards political. Okay. And they have some representative in the conservative Volksrat or the people councils. We will talk about Volksrat later. After this, okay? And yeah, Budi Utomo was officially dissolved in 1935, but it marked the first nationalist movement in the early 20th century. Later, they will have the representatives in Volksrat, which we will talk about in a few minutes after this. Yes. Yeah. Budi Utomo is the first nationalist. Yeah, okay, sorry. Budi Utomo marked the first nationalist movement in the early 20th century. Okay, so after talking about Budi Utomo, now we are moving forward to the next to the next movement, to the next group. It's Sarekat Islam. Yeah, this is the next political party. Cotto, ini fotonya. Nah, kita munculin lagi fotonya because we need their pictures now. Yeah, that's it now. So, they were known as the first seeds of Indonesian nationalism. This Islamic movement. So, Sarekat Islam is an early nationalism movement founded by Islamic traders formed on September 10th of 1912. So it rallied Indonesian Muslims under the banner of Islam. Well, they actually initially formed to combat Chinese influence in the batik trade, but soon widening its agenda to take a more radical anti-colonial stance. So it was actually for the combating trading. Actually, they were focusing in trading. You know, ya, kan suka kalau misalnya lagi masalah perdagangan pasti ada yang namanya saingan gitu. Jadi mereka waktu itu saingannya sama pengaruh Chinese di dalam pertukaran dalam perdagangan kain batik gitu. Tapi lama-lama akhirnya dari trading mereka shifted to a political movement to fight the colonial movement. To fight colonials. Yeah, it became the radical anti-colonial stance. The group was founded by Haji Samanhudi on 1905. Excuse me. Aku minum bentar ya. But this is not the picture of Hadi sama Hodi, okay? So the group was founded by Haji Samanhudi on 1905, but it was named as Sarikat Dagang Islam. But as it grew, it was reorganized under the name Sarikat Islam here, and the leaders are Haji Umar Sai Cokro Aminoto and Haji Agus Salim. OS Cokro Aminoto and Haji Agus Salim. Aduh, ketutupan. Maaf mas. Nih, kalau kalian mau lihat fotonya, so on the top right here you can see the picture of HOS Cokro Aminoto. This is the picture of HOS Cokro Aminoto, and then this man here is Haji Agus Salim. Ini Haji Agus Salim. Ini HOS Cokro Aminoto. Ya, maaf ketutupannya. Di fotonya kecil aja di sini dulu. Misi mas, maaf ya. Ini Haji Agus Salim. Okay. So their orientation at first it was business, but later mostly political. They are very active as political Islamic movement. And then a certain political party which I couldn't mention here, you know. Yeah, the Indonesian Communist Party, I will only mention it once, began as a splinter group within Sarikat Dagang. It was formed in 1920. Okay, so that's all about Sarikat Islam. I'm sorry guys if I don't really bring the topic in the more detailed. But if you guys want me to talk about these political parties in a more detailed way, maybe I can bring them up on my social media, or I have to prepare another stream just to talk about them, okay? Because today's topic is about Indonesian Colonial Era and the Japanese occupation. If I talk about them in a very detailed way, I might not finish it in time. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay. You guys understand about that party? That certain political party? Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so we are going to talk about the next party, which is Indonesia Party or Indies Party. This is one of the most famous political party back then. Hi! Yes. Yeah, so here's the symbol of Indonesia Party. Indonesia Party. Ini kalau yang kalian tahu, ini lahirnya 3 serangkai. Kalian ada yang masih ingat nggak 3 serangkai siapa ya? Yeah. So this is the party where the famous trio emerged. Yeah, the famous trio of Indonesia, which was known as 3 serangkai. Okay, for my Indonesian friends, Can you guys mention who are the people in tiga serangkai? Ya, buat teman-teman Indonesia, apakah kalian masih ingat siapa saja member tiga serangkai? Itu dulu aja. Aduh, kakiku kesemutan. Kakiku kesemutan. Ya, that was Decker one. Ya, Dokter Cipto apa? Tiga serangkai. Yeah, the trio. Yeah, maybe some of you want to call it Three Musketeers, but nope. Nope. It's like Three Musketeers from Indonesia. Ya, betul. Ki Hajar Dewantara, Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo, dan that was Decker. Yeah, so Indonesia Party was founded by tiga serangkai, which is Ernest, that was Decker. That was Decker. Then, Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo. Yes, they are very famous in Indonesia history. And Suwardi Surjaningrat, or he was more well known as Ki Hajar Dewantara. Yeah, they are very famous figures in Indonesia history. So, fun fact, Ernest Dawes Dekker, he was a mix. His papa was a Dutch and his mama was a mix of Japanese and German, sorry. Ya, jadi papanya orang Belanda asli dan mamanya orang Indo. Indo pada masa itu adalah orang-orang yang darahnya mix antara Londo dengan orang pribumi. In this case, her mother was mixed Java and German, okay? And fun fact, his great uncle was Multatuli, or Edward Dawes Dekker, who wrote the famous novel of Max Havelaar. What is Max Havelaar? We will talk about it someday. But it is a very famous novel in that period, in about 1800. Yeah, it's a very famous novel in 1800, which tells the story about fighting the VOC. Yeah, okay. So yeah, they were nicknamed as Tiga Serangkai. And the aim for this party was to unite all native people of the English. Hello Kiara, welcome back. Wait a second, I'm going to close the door. Kiara, sayang, ini mau pangku. Aku tidak sanggup memangkumu. Kali dia. Gimana pangkunya? Sini, pangku yuk, pangku. Sini. Jangan kabur. Aduh, berat banget. Aku nggak bisa lihat. Aku nggak bisa lihat papan tulisnya, gede banget. Turun. Ayo, muka aku ketutup. Berat banget. Iya, Tiara berat banget. Yeah, okay, let's continue. The aim for English party was to unite all native peoples of the Indies. In a struggle for an independent nation. Muat nggak nih tulisannya? Oh no. Okay. Okay, so under the slogan of Indie for Indians, we have the slogan of Indie for Indies. Hello, welcome. Yeah, so the membership was open to Indo-Europeans, Dutch permanent settlers, Indo-Chinese natives, and all indigenous people. Jadi ini juga mendirikan Indonesia Party ini untuk menggantikan Indish Bond yang merupakan organisasi dari orang-orang Indo dan Eropa di Indonesia. So, this Indish Party was established to menggantikan itu to replace Indonesia Bond, which was an organization for Indo people and European in Indonesia. So back then, Indo was a nickname for people who was mixed from Dutch and the natives Indonesian. Okay, Indo was a nickname for mixed race people. Yeah, because back then they also established this party because there were a lot of discrimination, especially towards Dutch descendant from Dutch descendants. Sebentar, kok jadi berantakan, aku lagi mikir bahasa Inggris. Ya, dari guys. Ya, blasteran. Maaf, aku nggak fokus tadi, aku sambil lihat chat. Oke. Fokus Layla, fokus. Okay, so English Party was also established because of some discrimination that happened. Thank you so much, Pirori Ninja-san, for NIJISANJI. Hi Layla, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so let me focus now. Okay, so English Party was also established because there were some discrimination that happened between the pure blood Dutch and some Indo-Dutch, the mixed race one. Okay, so English Party as a mixed organization really wanted a collaboration between Indonesian and Bumi Putra. Jadi ada itu ya, ada satu komite lagi yang namanya Bumi Putra. Ini didirikan pada tahun 1913 dalam rangka menyambut peringatan 100 tahun pembebasan Belanda dari kekuasaan Prancis. Dan ini ironisnya ada di situ, kenapa mereka malah merayakan ini di negara yang mereka juga jajah, gitu kan? Okay, so let me erase it all. English Party. They want to fight the discrimination. Ya, ada sentimen. Tuh. discrimination, sorry. Discrimination. Yeah. Okay, so there's also another comedy which is called Komite Bumi Putra, or Sons of the Land. Yeah. And this Komite Bumi Putra was founded in 1913, and it was to celebrate 100-year when Dutch was independent from France. Okay. Actually, English party did some usaha itu pak. Aduh, suaraku kok indah sekali ya. Indonesia Party did some movements so they can establish aku kok nggak konsen sih, kenapa sih? Aku nggak konsen ya. So to fight the discrimination, they did some efforts. And some of the efforts to make natives and the Indo work together was to fight the I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened to me today. Just待ってね. Hello. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so sorry I cannot focus for today because there are lots of materials and I'm kinda unfocused. I should stop looking at the chats, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they did lots of efforts. So Indo, the mixed people, and the native Indonesian can work together. Some of the efforts are to fight the pride of the social when they are socializing, and then they also fight anything that could cause the hate towards different race and religion. And they also tried to get rights for all people in Dutch East Indies. Okay. Banyak banget, aku sampai hampir salah sebut. Berusaha mentranslate itu semua dalam kepalaku. And then, but sadly, exactly 1 year after the foundation of the English Party, all three founders were exiled to the Netherlands. Exactly 1 year after the foundation. Leaders were exiled. To the Netherlands. Okay, so why Why were they exiled? They were able to still remain politically active, and eventually they will return to the Dutch East Indies. But why were they exiled? Why? Because apparently they were explicitly and vigorously opposing widespread racial discrimination. They really opposed the discrimination by the colonial elite of Dutchmen, and they also advocating total independence from the Netherlands. Okay, why? First one is they opposed widely spread opposition to racial discrimination. And the other reason, because they also advocating total independence. Ooh, I'm so sorry for my ugly writing. Getting total independence. Oopsie! Nggak kelihatan. Ya, nggak kebaca juga. Gimana ya? Ntar aku hapus lagi sekali lagi. Tulis lagi. You can do this. I'm so sorry, I can't seem to focus today. Okay, because they oppose racial discrimination. And they also advocating total independence from the Dutch. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry for the picture, it covered my writings. Ya, ini logonya English Party. Ini fotonya 3 serangkai. If you guys want to see the picture of 3 serangkai, here are they. Here they are. Nah. So on the middle we have double sticker, and on the left we got Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo, and then on the right side we got Ki Hajar Dewantara. Bentar, kebalik nggak ya? Kebalik nggak ya? Oh sorry, kebalik. On the left here we got Ki Hajar Dewantara, in the middle we have double sticker, and on the right here we have Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo. Hai. Yes, that mustache. Yeah, so 3 of them were exiled to Netherlands exactly 1 year after the foundation of the English Party. Why? Because they actively and do it in widespread. They are very opposed racial discrimination, and they also advocating total independence from the Netherlands. So the colonial government branded the organization as dangerous and subversive, or kayak menjatuhkan kekuasaan gitu. Jadi mereka menganggap English Party itu kayak dalam usaha menjatuhkan kekuasaan kolonial. So that's why they banned the party only 1 year after its foundation. But then it was succeeded by another Eurasian party calling itself Insulinde. They was succeeded by Insulinde. Insulinde means East Indies. Zaman dulu kalau foto mukanya kenapa harus sangar gitu? Oh, saya juga tidak tahu. Sepertinya supaya terlihat berwibawa. Okay, so yeah, and we still got lots and lots of political parties established in Indonesia around this time. Okay, so so the influence of World War I and Indonesia and its impact to Indonesia. So during World War I, kita ganti. Nanti kita mau ngomongin soal Volksrat ya. Duduk. Ya, situasi. Ya, jadi mendingan cari rest space juga biar nggak pegal. Betul, logikanya bener sih. Zaman dulu kamera tuh kalau jepret tuh nggak berapa detik gitu. Kayaknya cukup lama, kalau nggak salah mesti tahan. Ada yang sampai tahan 15 menit kalau nggak salah. Yeah. Okay. So then World War I happened, and what's the impact to Indonesia? So during World War I, the Dutch remained neutral. Yes, they remained neutral. But Indonesian nationalists spoke louder to the Dutch to make Indonesian army for preparation if Dutch involved in war. So Dutch thought, wow, Indonesia is very loyal to them. And then, because of this, the background of they established Volksraad, or People's Council, atau dalam bahasa Indonesia kita mengetahui ini sebagai Dewan Rakyat. Jadi ini kayak cikal bakalnya DPR pada masa itu. Tapi mereka juga tidak punya pengaruh yang besar. So, the background of Volksraad establishment indeed was related to World War I that broke out in 1914. So, this event pushed Budi Utomo to speak about the importance of Dutch Indies defense and forming conscription atau wajib militer for natives, especially since the threat of foreign power might enter Indonesia anytime. Yeah, the threat was always there. And yeah, the foreign threat was proved to be true when Japanese invade Indonesia in World War II. So let's talk about Volksraad. So the Dutch, in an effort to give substance to their promise to associate the Indonesian community more closely with the government, they created Volksraad. In December 16th of December 1916. Yeah, at first, this council had 38 members. 15 of them are natives. 15 were natives. Yes. Okay. The other members were European, Chinese, Arab, and foreign Orientals. And then by the end of 1920, the majority of its members are natives. Okay. So, in 1918, this proto-parliament, the Volksraad, met for the first time 2 years after their establishment. Erase again. So Volksrat. Established in 1916 on December 16th, but they met for the first time in 1918, 2 years after their establishment. So Volksrat have limited authority. Have limited authority. Well, they could give some advice, but they don't have the rights to decide on something. Well, because in Volksrat, most aspects were dominated by Dutch colonial. Dominated by Dutch colonial force. For example, Dutch was the language that was used in the conference. To be used in conference. Yeah, so in this ya, jadi ini dulunya sebelum punya DPR dibikinin DPR-DPRan, namanya Dewan Rakyat atau Volksrat atau People's Council. Yeah, well, they have very limited authority because they were dominated by the Dutch colonial. For example, Dutch was the only language that has to be used in the conferences by Volksrat. Okay, so this is more like it's just how Dutch want people of Indonesia, of native Indonesia, to see that Dutch actually fulfill their promise to associate Indonesian community more closely with the government. Jadi ini cuman kayak apa ya, cuman formalitas aja gitu. Formalitas, jadi kelihatannya kayak pemerintah kolonial Belanda itu memberikan kesempatan bagi para komunitas Indonesia dan para pribumi untuk berkomunikasi lebih dekat dengan pemerintahan kolonial Belanda. Tapi jadinya cuman kayak gini gitu. Cuma formalitas aja, mereka cuma bisa kasih advice, tapi mereka pun tidak bisa memberikan keputusan apapun. Betul sekali. Ya, gitu. Yeah, and yeah, apparently there was a figure who was very brave and he talked in bahasa Indonesia during a conference. Yeah. And there was also a very famous petition in Volksrat. A famous petition. It was Sutarjo petition. Sutarjo petition. So if you want to see Volksrat, this is the picture of Volksrat. Yeah. So yeah, this is the picture of a Volksrat conference. And yeah, so let's talk about the famous petition, the Sutarjo petition. Yeah, Sutarjo petition was submitted by Sutarjo Karto Hadikusumo. Let me erase this. Sutarjo petition. It was submitted on July 15th, 1936 by Sutarjo Karto Hadikusumo. He submitted it to Queen Wilhelmina and Staten-Generaal or Dutch Parliament in the Netherlands. This petition was submitted because there was an increased dissatisfaction towards government. Dissatisfaction towards government due to the political policy by Governor General de Jong. De Jong. So he submitted this petition. Yang mau makan silakan. The petition was submitted to Queen Wilhelmina and the Dutch Parliament because there was an increased dissatisfaction towards the government due to the political policy by Governor General de Jong. He was the Governor General that reigned in Dutch East Indies from 1931 to 1936. Okay. So, long story short, after this Japanese invasion happened, and on March 8th of 1942, Dutch ended any colonial activity in Indonesia. So, after this Japanese invasion happened, which led to the Dutch ended colonial activity in Indonesia. So, authority power shifted to Japanese and Volksraad was not recognized anymore. So, no more Volksraad. Then Indonesia entered the period to fight for independence. Before we talk about Japanese invasion, we are going to talk just a little bit more of Indonesia's fight towards independence in Dutch colonial era. So on 1920, finally, the word of Indonesia came into modern usage. Jadi, sudah mulai dipakai kata Indonesia pada tahun 1920. So, previously the youth alliances had talked about the separate Balinese nation, Javanese nation, Sumatra nation, and so on. But now they have Indonesia word to spoke of a single people. Ya, tadinya tuh dulu sebenarnya sempat disebut-sebut kayak negara Bali atau negara Jawa atau negara Sumatera, tapi akhirnya setelah mendapatkan kata Indonesia ini menjadi satu kesatuan. So, who came up with the name of Indonesia? So, it was created by an English naturalist to classify the ethnic and geographic era. And it was seized upon the nationalists as a word to imagine the unity of people. Jadi dulunya ada seorang naturalis dari Inggris yang untuk mengklasifikasi etnisitas dan geografik era dari kepulauan ini sebagai Indonesia. Tapi akhirnya di tahun 1920 ini kata ini diambil dan digunakan oleh para tokoh nasionalis sebagai sebuah kata untuk menyatukan people, menyatukan rakyat gitu. Ya gitu. Udah mengerti? Did you guys get it? So yeah, the word Indonesia was originally created by an English naturalist to classify the ethnic and geographic era. But then the word was seized upon the nationalist figures as a word to imagine unity. Yay! Okay. And then after that, in 1927, a new party, the Indonesia National Party, or PNI, was established by Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo lagi. Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo. Mr. Sartono. Mr. Isaac. Iskak Cokro Hadi Suryo. And Mr. No, Kiara, stop it, no. Oh my goodness. She's so clever. Wait a second. I'm going to close the door again for Kiara. Yeah, can you stop that? Yeah. Okay, and also plus one. Here comes the name Sukarno, who was later would be the first president of Indonesia. Hello, Blizen. Hello. Welcome. Yeah. So they founded the Indonesian National Party in 1927, and it was the first all-Indonesia secular party devoted primarily to independence. Okay. Yeah, so this party was devoted primarily to was also an All Indonesia Secular Party. Hello. Hello, welcome. Buat yang ketinggalan bisa nonton ini ya. Ya, yang mau ketinggalan dia nonton archive ya. Ya. His wife is very famous in Japan because one of his wives was a Japanese. And yeah, the aim for this. Okay, wait, let me erase the name. Erase. Okay, so the aim was economic and political independence. Political independence for the Indonesian archipelago. Yeah, and this aim will only be achieved by non-cooperating with the Dutch colonial regime, so they will fight to stop any cooperation with the Dutch colonial regime. By the end of 1929, they have 10k members. They have 10,000 members. Yay, 10k! Congratulations, 10k! And because of the amount of the members, it was a lot. It is a very huge amount of members. This alarmed the authorities, and Sukarno and the other party leaders were arrested in 1929. So many! Alert! Oh, yeah! Because of this... Sorry. Because of this... So many! Alarm the authorities. Yup. Dan karena kan udah banyak banget gitu ya. Udah banyak banget membernya, jadi kayak pemerintah kolonial Belanda tuh jadi merasa kayak, oh my god, ini terancam, oh no, gawat, mending kita ban aja. Jadi mendingan Sukarno sama party leader lain sama pemimpin yang lain kita asingkan saja, tangkap aja. Arrested in, yep, and a virtual ban placed on the PNI. So PNI, sorry, yeah, a virtual ban placed on the PNI, and yeah, because of 10k, because of a lot of members. And the trial for the leaders was held on August 18th, 1930. So the trial for them on August 18th, 1930. Yeah, and within this trial period, Sukarno had a very famous speech. He wrote his famous speech of Indonesia menggunakan. Jadi beliau, Bapak Sukarno, pada masa persidangan ini, beliau memiliki sebuah pidato yang sangat terkenal. Namanya Indonesia Menggugat. Or Indonesia Shoes. Sus. Apa gimana sih? Suing. Su ya. Su. Menggugat. Indonesia. Hey. I don't know. Choose or demand? I don't know. Between demand or choose, okay? Okay. Yeah. And the speech delivered the topics about imperialism, capitalism, imperialism in Indonesia, and movements in Indonesia, and also about Indonesian National Party. Okay, yay! So that's all about Indonesian National Party. And after this, the timeline after this is on 1928. Ada yang tahu nggak? 28 Oktober 1928 ini adalah hari apa? Sumpah Pemuda, tepat sekali. Dapat poin bonus. Yay! Or the youth pledge. So on this day, there was an all-Indonesian Youth Congress happening. Youth Congress. Second time? Yeah, this is the second Congress. Yeah, and they established the nationalist goal of nationalist goal. Oh, here it is. Satu negara. Sorry. One country. Indonesia. Aduh, nggak muat nih, aku naikin aja. Nah, ini aku hapus dulu sebentar. I'm going to erase this because there's not much space. We established the nationalist goals, which is satu negara, Indonesia, satu bangsa. Bangsa Indonesia. Dan satu bahasa. Bahasa Indonesia. Yeay. Bertanah air satu, berbangsa satu, berbahasa satu. Yes. Satu nusa, satu bangsa, satu bahasa. Ya sekarang masih Agustus, kan bukan hari ini. Sekarang masih 28 Agustus. Iya. Yeah, so yeah. This marked the big step for Indonesia. Because on 20th October of 1928, on the Second Congress of All Indonesian Youth Congress, they proclaimed the Youth Pledge or Sumpah Pemuda, establishing the nationalist goals of bertanah air satu, or one country Indonesia, berbangsa satu, Indonesian, bangsa Indonesia, and berbahasa satu, one language, bahasa Indonesia. Yang menjunjung bahasa persatuan, bahasa Indonesia. Hey, ya terima kasih yang sudah membantu membetulkan. Yang paling terakhir katanya adalah menjunjung bahasa persatuan, bahasa Indonesia. Thank you for correcting. Yeah, sometimes I also make mistakes. I'm so sorry. I'm also learning. Thank you. And then after this, there would be more other political parties established in Indonesia around that time. Yeah. Sometimes I feel embarrassed if I make a mistake but I'm also human. Feel free to point it out to me if I make mistake, okay? Thank you so much. Oof. Okay. So, and then World War II happened. World War II happened. And then the fall of East Indies to Japan in 1942 broke the continuity of Dutch ruling, and they also provided a completely new environment for nationalist activity. Yes. Oh, arigato! Never rains. Never_rains. Thank you so much for the donation. Thanks for the lesson, Professor Layla. I'm not a professor. I'm just a tiny historian trying to learn history. Oh ya, Kongres Pemuda juga tempat pertama kali lagu Indonesia Raya dikumandangkan, tapi kayaknya belum dinyanyikan ya, baru dimainin doang pakai biola. So, Japanese occupation. So Japanese occupation actually provide a new environment for the Indonesian nationalists. How to make a straight line? Okay, there. So here we go with Japanese occupation. So in May 1940, early in World War II, the Netherlands was occupied by Nazi Germany in 1940, okay? And then Dutch East Indies also declared a state of siege. And by December 1941, factions from Sumatra sought Japanese assistance for a revolt against the Dutch wartime government. And the last Dutch forces were defeated by Japan in March 1942. Yeah. Please forgive them. Please forgive the Japanese. We are not in war anymore. Please forgive them. Thank you. Yeah. And then, yup. Last Dutch forces defeated by Japs on March 1942. So by then, a Japanese Imperial Army marched into Batavia on 5th March 1942. Yeah, if there's no peace, no NIJISANJI. Oh iya, yang mau Jumatan silakan ya. Buat teman-teman yang mau sholat Jumat dipersilahkan. Jangan sampai telat ya. Kalian bisa nonton archive-nya Layla di sini. Thank you. This army march into Batavia. Ya, namanya waktu itu masih Batavia. Yeah, and then after they march, they changed the name to Jakarta. Around this time, they changed the name to Jakarta. There. So, Kabunga! Thank you so much, Agresi Militer. Spoiler alert, comeback is real. Yes. Yes. Ya, sebelum mereka ke Batavia, mereka sempat ya ke Tarakan dulu, ke Sumatera dulu. Mereka tuh karena mereka mau mengambil hasil buminya untuk diimpor ke Manchuria dan Jepang. Itu. Ya, dari Filipina juga. Mereka dari atas dulu, dari atas ke bawah. Kan soalnya kan Filipina sama Manchuria daerahnya lebih atas, jadi mereka ke Cina, Manchuria. Turun terus ke bawah. Ya. Yang mau Jumatan jangan lupa social distancing ya guys. Jangan lupa social distancing. Stay safe and healthy always. Okay? Ya, nama Jakarta itu dari Jepang. Betul. Yeah, okay. So the name of Batavia changed to Jakarta, and Europeans were arrested, and all signs of the former Dutch masters eliminated. So yeah, they captured Dutch, and some of them are executed also. Ya, sebelumnya Jayakarta, dari Jayakarta ke Batavia, abis itu Batavia jadi Jakarta. Okay, so let's erase this. So the Japanese military authorities in Java, having interned Dutch administrative personnel, they thought Japanese found it necessary to use Indonesian in many administrative positions. In many administrative position. Okay, what am I going to talk about is a bit. Okay, ini Bapak Soekarno. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about after this might be a little bit sensitive for our Japanese viewers, so I'm so sorry about this. But yeah, I will try to tone down it. I will try to tone down so it will be not that sensitive, okay? Ya, soalnya seperti yang kalian tahu nanti bakal ada rumusnya, okay? Jadi aku cuma akan berbicara tentang rumusnya dan peta, tapi selebihnya tidak akan aku bicarakan di sini. Makasih. Ya, okay. So this is a very important fact that they use Indonesians in many of administrative positions, And by doing this, they won Indonesia sympathizing. Jadi kayak they want Indonesia sympathize because back then under the Dutch, Indonesia didn't have any opportunities to be in administrative position because those positions had been denied under the Dutch. Okay? Jadi ini tuh sebenarnya gerakan yang penting. Ini sebuah gerakan yang penting bagi Jepang saat mereka memilih untuk mempekerjakan orang-orang Indonesia dalam posisi-posisi administratif. Karena pada masa itu di bawah pemerintahan kolonial Belanda, bangsa Indonesia itu nativesnya tidak bisa mendapatkan posisi dalam administratif gitu loh, untuk pekerjaan administratif, karena kesempatan itu tuh tidak diperbolehkan oleh Belanda, jadi tidak dikasih. Tolong jangan ya, jangan ditolong, jangan dibahas itu, salah, terlalu sensitif ya untuk bagian wanitanya terlalu sensitif, jadi aku tidak akan bicarakan. Oke? Terima kasih. Sorry, I might need to bonk you. Please, I'm sorry. Please don't. Please, I'm so sorry. Dimohon, tolong dimohon pengertiannya teman-teman dari Indonesia. Tolong dimohon supaya ini jadi kondusif, karena Layla cuma mau menceritakan sejarah menuju kemerdekaan Indonesia secara general aja ya. Jadi secara garis besar aja. Jadi untuk yang sensitifnya tolong jangan dibahas di sini. Terima kasih. Oke. Please keep it safe for work. Thank you so much. Ya, jadi aku cuman bakal ceritain garis besar dan seberapa pentingnya I will just talk about the importance of Japanese occupation to the road of Indonesia independence, okay? Because this is a new environment for the nationalists until Indonesia reached their independence. Thank you. Right. So, because of this, initially most Indonesians welcomed the Japanese as liberators from their Dutch colonial masters. Right. But public opinion turned against them as the war wore on, and Indonesians were expected to endure more hardships for the war efforts. And then Indonesians would soon experience the hardships of the Japanese rule. They will experience the scarcity of food, clothing, and medicines, as well as forced labor under harsh conditions. Ya, thank you. Iya, nggak apa-apa, santai aja. Terima kasih. Ya, terima kasih ya. Akan kita sebut, tapi untuk beberapa bagian yang sangat sensitif tidak perlu disebut ya. Dimohon pengertiannya semua teman-teman. Jadi aku cukup sebutkan namanya, tapi apa yang akan terjadi kalian bisa cek sendiri. Ini kalian sudah tahu kan? Ya, it's the history. Okay, so after this, but soon. So because of this, Indonesian welcome Japanese as liberators from Dutch colonial. But this soon turned against the Japanese because Indonesians would soon experience the hardship under the Japanese rule. They would experience scarcity of food, clothing, and medicines, as well as forced labor under harsh conditions, which we know as promusha. or forced labor. Okay? No, we are talking about Romusha now. But then this would be race. This opinion soon change. Because of the hardships. That Indonesian has endured. Okay, some of the hardships are scarcity of food, forced labors. It's just like kerja rodi once happens again. Forced labor, Romusha. This also including the Burma to Siam Railway and Sakatibaya Railway. Yeah, okay. And then millions of people died in Indonesia as a result of famine and forced labor during the Japanese occupation. But don't worry, but actually there's also some good thing happen for the independence. But the good thing is Japanese. Sorry. They educated trained and armed many of young Indonesians. They also gave the nationalist leaders like Sukarno and Hatta a political voice. Leaders, a political voice. Yeah, okay. So because of this enabled the nationalists to prepare for independence. Yay! Okay. So, yeah. Please forgive them. Okay, so so the story about the hardship is over, and let's talk about the importance of the Japanese occupation for Indonesia to the road of independence. Okay, so they actually educated, trained, and armed many of young Indonesians, and they also gave the nationalist leaders a political voice. So this move enabled the nationalists to prepare for independence. It was also because the only choice that Sukarno and Hatta had for a chance to win an independence for Indonesia was to pretend that they were collaborating with Japanese. This is the picture of Sukarno and Hatta. This is Bapak Sukarno. And this is Muhammad Hatta. There you go. Yeah, and then in July 1942, Sukarno accepted Japan's offer to rally the public in support of the Japanese war effort. And that's why in 1943, Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta were decorated by the Emperor of Japan. In 1943. Yeah, and then also they also established PETA. Established PETA. Mulai panas ya. Okay, so PETA is defenders of the homeland, pembela tanah air. Ini pasukan pembela tanah air. Pembela tanah air. Defenders of the homeland. Yeah. Okay. Soekarno Hatta is not one person. Yes. Yeah, it's not the animal rights group. It's a very different one. Yeah. Well, I don't think they had. I don't think Mr. Hatta have a big have an actual bad conflict with Mr. Sukarno. I think they're very good friends. But there was one time where Muhammad Hatta didn't agree with the political party, so Muhammad Hatta formed a different party from Sukarno. But then they joined together again. They're like bros, yeah. They're very good friends. Yeah. So PETA is an army formed by Japanese for Indonesia. It was there consists of native Indonesians. Yeah, the name is Pembela Tanah Air or Defenders of the Homeland or Kyodo Boe Kyugun. It was established on October 3, 1943. Yeah. And actually, Japanese intended PETA to assist their forces in opposing a possible invasion by the Allies, because there's always the threat, right? But PETA army would then play a big role in Indonesia Independence War or Perang Kemerdekaan Indonesia, which happened after their declaration of independence, and the Dutch wanted to take Indonesia back. But PETA fought for it, okay? PETA army would fight for Indonesia in Indonesia Independence War, where Indonesia fought for their hard-earned independence, and they wouldn't let Dutch colonize them once more. And PETA was believed to be the foundation for today's National Army of Indonesia or TNI, Tentara Nasional Indonesia. This is not an animal right group, okay? Thank you. Ya, terima kasih. Nah, but during the Japanese occupation, there would be a lot of resistance ongoing, including resistance from PETA. PETA also resisted. Okay, so now underground resistance. Resistance. So actually, during Japanese occupation in Indonesia, they actually treated Indonesia way better than the other countries that they occupied. That's why Indonesia can have their way to independence. So one of the most famous underground resistance movements was organized by Sultan Syahrir. Ini foto. Nah, ini peta. Ini pasukan peta. This is the picture of peta army. And then this is the picture of Sultan Syahrir. Yeah. So Sukarno, Hatta, and Syahrir had in fact agreed that Syahrir would go with the underground movements to organize the revolutionary resistance, while the other two, Sukarno and Hatta, would continue their cooperation with the Japanese occupier. So Sultan Syahrir worked with the underground resistance movements, and Sukarno Hatta continue with their cooperation with the Japanese occupier. Later then, Sultan Syahrir would be appointed as Indonesia's first prime minister in 1945. Nah. Jadi pada masa ini Sukarno, Hatta, dan Sultan Syahrir mereka sudah memutuskan untuk mereka setuju untuk bekerja sama dalam hal ini, tapi Sultan Syahrir kerjanya dengan pemberontakan bawah tanah gitu, gerakan perlawanan dari bawah tanah. Tapi kalau yang ngumpet-ngumpet gitu lah ya. Nah, terus Soekarno sama Hatta tetap terlihat seperti bekerja sama dengan Jepang di atas gitu. Jadi Sultan Syahrir mainnya jalan belakang, Soekarno Hatta mainnya di depan. Gitu. Yes, it was a good move. And then we also have lots of resistances, including resistances. Including the event of Singaparna. This was led by Aha Zainal Mustafa. And then Indramayu in 1944. And then Peta Resistance. The resistances which happened in Aceh on 1944, and then in Blitar in 1945, and in Cilacap also in 1945. Yes, okay. And then and then a lot more of resistance. Yeah, they were always small, sporadic, and localized. Jadi kecil-kecilan gitu, jadi belum bersatu. Resistance-nya tuh belum bersatu, jadi kecil-kecil. Misalnya di Aceh aja merontakan, di Blitar aja merontakan di Indramayu gitu. Jadi satu lokasi gitu. The locations were separated. It was very localized. Jadi kecil-kecil, it was small. Iya, ingat mereka semua koordinasi tanpa grup chat. Yeah, a lot of resistance ongoing. after all of this resistance and underground resistances, we have our road to independence. Finally. Road to independence. Independence. So, in the final months before Japan's surrender, effectively ending World War II, by end of World War II, the Japanese gave full support to the Indonesian nationalist movement. So, for example, in March 1945, they established BPUPKI, BPUPKY. Kabunga! Thank you so much, anggota Naramaung Fans Club. Although according to my knowledge, in the year of 1928, Nero was born in Amsterdam and only started broadcasting in 1934. It features like Ronjong music for people in 8 March and then 1942. Tadi kepotong loh nasinya. Oh, okay. Oh, although according to my from anggota Naramaung Fans Club, although according to my knowledge, in the year of 1928, Niram was born in Amsterdam and only started broadcasting in 1934. It features like Ronjong music for the people. In 8 March 1942, they officially closed the broadcast and stated selamat terpotong. Yeah, Nirom broadcast radio station. Eigo kiki to yaritai. Arigatou gozaimasu. ごめんなさい。ライドの日本語はまだまだです。だから本当にごめんなさい。すみません。英語聞きやりたい。ありがとうございます。頑張ってね。Ayo, selamat berpisah hingga waktu yang lebih baik kelak. Hidup sang ratu. Oke. Yasui. Inggrisnya gampang didengerin. Oh, ego kekitori yasui. Oh gitu. Oh yasui. Oh iya, aku kira tadi yaritai. Sorry. Gomen. Thank you. Arigato. Okay, where did we left off? Okay, yeah. So on March 1945, Japanese established BPUPKI for Indonesia. It was the investigating committee for preparatory work for independence atau Badan Penyelidik Usaha-Usaha Persiapan Kemerdekaan Indonesia. Yeah. It is the committee to prepare for the work to independence. It is the initial stage of the establishment of independence for the area under the control of the Japanese 16th Army. And then by 15th of August 1945, Japanese surrendered to the Allied force. Surrendered to the Allied force. But Japanese army and navy were still stationed in Indonesia because Japan had promised to give back Indonesia to the Dutch. But in the end, they helped Indonesia to get the independence because they don't want to give Indonesia back to the Dutch. Yeah. Your Japanese is good. Thank you, thank you. 本当にありがとうございます。Hey. So as the war ended, Soekarno, kita kembali dengan fotonya Soekarno dan Hatta. Yeah, so okay, this is a picture of BPUPKI. Ini BPUPKI. Jadi kita BPUPKI. Yeah, the committee for the work for independence. It's to prepare the work for independence. And then, as the war ended, Soekarno and Hatta was the most popular nationalist leader. Nationalist leaders. Oh, ketutupan. Oke. Nah. Nationalist leaders. Okay. And then that's why on 16th August of 1945, they got kidnapped. They got kidnapped by the younger generation. Yeah. Nih, kita kembalikan fotonya Soekarno dan Hatta. Oke. Ya. Yeah. They got kidnapped and brought to Rengas Dengklok. Route to Rengas Dengklok. And then they pressured by the radical younger generation atau golongan muda untuk to declare independence before the Dutch could return. Ya. Jadi mereka diculik sama golongan muda supaya mereka bisa mendeklarasikan kemerdekaan sebelum Belanda kembali ke Indonesia. And then on August Kabunga! Ya, arigato! Anggota Naramau Fans Club. Oh iya, maaf kepotong. Jadi pada akhir siaran itu para sekutu Jepang, maybe pas dengar lagu bahasa Belanda, mereka langsung ke kantor Mirom yang di Bandung dan we noticed that employees of Mirom. Okay. Oh no! Oh no! Iya sih. Ya, Thank you for the information. And by 17 August of 1945, with Japanese backing, Soekarno proclaimed independence. Proclaimed the independence. I need... Sorry for my ugly handwriting. Oh no. Road to... Rengasengklok, there. Yeah, so by that time, Soekarno-Hatta were the most popular nationalist leaders. That's why on 16 August 1945, they got kidnapped by the younger generation and forced to declare independence before the Dutch could return. So, with Japanese backing, on 17th August 1945, Sukarno proclaimed the independence of the Republic of Indonesia from his Jakarta home at Pegangsaan Timur, number 56, Jakarta. Yay! Yeah, that's all. So, that's all for Indonesia independence history. Yay! So that's all for today's class, and I'm glad I can finish it within 2 hours. Yeah, Merdeka! And then the start of masa bersiap and the War of Independence. Minum dulu. Thank you. Yeah, I will just brought the topic until proclamation. I don't know about bringing the topic of bersiap and the War of Independence. I need to ask Tasan if I'm allowed to bring that topic.
Oh my!
Because if it's too sensitive,
Thank you.
I cannot bring it, okay? Thank you so much, Dogo Concern-san. Thank you for the lesson, Layla. Thank you for the donation. Yay! Yeah, it's kinda sensitive. And then the next one is from Seravi-san.
Oh my! Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the lesson from the USA. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. And yeah, that's all for today's class. Kapan-kapan bahas D-Day ya. If you guys want me to bring about D-Day, yeah, I will bring the topic someday on the stream, but with bahasa Indonesia. Because it's an international topic. For international topic, I will bring it mainly in bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, well, yeah, it's a great material though. Iya, voting di Twitter topiknya apa? Bentar, gantian, masih ada di form. Aku ngambil topik, habis ini akan kembali ke topik yang di Google Form. Jadi biar adil. Itu masih banyak antrian di Google Form, itu aku nggak tahu berapa ratus topik itu.
Thank you.
Ya, arigato. Izgi-san for the donation. Thank you. Thanks, madam, for the lesson. Thank you so much. Ya. Hai, dede ikudo. Okay, here is this. Yeah, thank you so much for attending today's class. So for the next topic, will still be in Indonesian related topic, and I will bring the next topic with Zaya. Yeah, Zaya will be our guest teacher.
Kabunga.
Thank you so much, Gama Pradipta-san. Otsu, Bu Layla, ini uang kas minggu ini hampir lupa ngasih uang kas. Santai aja, nggak apa-apa. Terima kasih ya. Terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih, sangat menyenangkan. Ya, terima kasih. On the next class of Alstroepedia, I will bring it together with Zea. She will be our guest teacher on the next class and the topic is still related to Indonesia. And can you guess what the topic is? It's with Zea. So I think you guys might have guessed it. Jadi topik selanjutnya akan dibawakan bersama Zea sebagai dosen tamu kita.
Kabunga.
Terima kasih Sky Blue 32. Thanks for the class, madam. Terima kasih donasinya. Ya. Jadi kira-kira kalian bisa tebak nggak topiknya apa kalau bawa-bawa Zea? Iya.
Kabunga.
Thank you so much, Nirva. Thanks for the class. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oke, ya ini foto Bapak Soekarno dan Bapak Hatta. Oke, udah selesai. Ya, BPUPKI. Nah, thank you so much Kipacin-san. Also, you made it in 2 hours. We will look forward to the next part. Oke, buat terima kasih ya. Teman-teman yang mau sholat Jumat atau mau Jumatan, dipersilakan. Dan jangan lupa social distancing-nya. Stay safe and healthy always. Ara, thank you so much Bonorio-san. Bono Sisters Teaching, thank you so much for today's class, ma'am. Thank you for the donation. Ya, ini kenapa jadi banyak kabungka? BRB ngasih tahu Lumi kalau Zia bakal jadi guru. Wah. Ara, Lumi fansnya Zia. Ya, oke. Jadi ini terakhir ya foto saat proklamasi kemerdekaan Indonesia. This is the picture from when Soekarno proclaimed the independence of the Republic of Indonesia. Hai, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you for the class, you. Okay, guys. See you on the next class, and don't forget, Zia will have her birthday countdown stream tonight. Don't forget to attend Zia's birthday countdown stream. Stream tonight on 10 p.m. GMT plus 7. Yeay! Siapin kado buat Zia. Yeah, don't forget to come to her stream tonight at Zia Cornelia. Iya, siap. Nanti aku cek isi penutupnya Radio Nirong. Siap. Hai. Yay, okay. Thank you so much for attending my class today. See you in the next class. I will inform you guys about it. I will announce it on my social media, on my Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube community post for my next class, collaborating with Zia. Hai, Alstroemeria, terima kasih yang udah ke kelas hari ini.
Kabungga.
Thank you so much, Mike 54. Thank you for the class, madam. Thank you. Don't forget to have your lunch. And for you guys who need to go to your Friday prayers, feel free to do so. Have a blessed day. Stay safe and healthy always. And yep. Sorry. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. It's okay, I will rest today and tomorrow. See you on my next stream with Zia. Alstroemeria. Layla Alstroemeria. Bubar. Jalan. Dadah.
Bye.